Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars in the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live and loud, they're breaking the mold. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
And good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you're not frozen. We're even frozen down here in Florida. And hey, we had some football this weekend that looked like it was frozen.
I'm not frozen, but I'm buried under about 2 feet of fresh snow.
That's being frozen, man.
Yeah. It's actually not too cold though, minus the snow there. The weather. The weather itself is only in like the 20s right now, so I'm not gonna bitch.
Well, people that live in who have never lived in a place like Chicago, Buffalo, Minneapolis, these places that get big amounts of snow don't understand how the snow makes it warm. Do you know what I mean? Like 30 degrees in St. Louis with no snow on the ground versus 30 degrees in Chicago with 2 feet of snow on the ground is actually warmer in Chicago because the snow kind of insulates in a weird way. It's a weird phenomenon. You actually feel warmer in a 30-degree day with snow on the ground, with a bunch of snow on the ground, than you do in a 30-degree day with no snow on the ground.
Yeah, my buddy that just moved down to North Carolina was sitting there saying pretty much the same thing. I'm used to such colder freaking temperatures. But now that I'm used to the warm temperature here, when it even gets slightly cold, it like goes to your bones now.
Oh, dude. Hello. Look where I live. When I first got to Florida, I was like, oh, it's 50. Let's go to the pool. Let's hit the beach. Now it's like, oh, it's 70. Where's my sweatshirt? I used to make fun of Floridians when I used to come down here back in, like the 90s and whatnot. You get down here at spring break, it's in the 60s, and they're all like, their Puff Daddy, the big Puff Daddy jackets and all like the Uggs and all the, just like dressed like it's 20 below zero in Chicago. And we're sitting there with the T-tops off on the Firebird, shorts, T-shirt, flip-flops, and they're dressed up like 18 layers of clothes. And you look at them like, dude, but now I get it. I mean, my water temperature, my pool drops below like 80. I don't even want to get in it. Now the backyard kids, the kids across the way, they're kids. The pool water is like 65 degrees. Oh yeah, they're in the pool on Christmas, dude.
That doesn't shock me.
Pool water is like 65 degrees, or 60 degrees or so. They were in the pool, like whatever. They were out there having a split splashy good old time. I'm looking at them across the yard. When I'll feed the dogs, I'm like, y'all kids crazy. Too cold. Like, I don't even know if I want to get in a hot tub because I have to deal with the cold temp, air to go back and forth. But that game in Denver, dude, and you know what's funny about the game in Denver? Had that game been in New England, the weather conditions would have been even worse. People thought the Denver weather was insane. It was worse than Boston.
Oh, shit. And I couldn't believe all the people that were sitting there bitching about the weather for that game. Of all the playoff games going to come down to the weather and this and that. Isn't that how playoff games are supposed to go?
Yeah. Isn't that home field advantage?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Good morning, Fred. But also, I mean, those people that complain no matter where the game was at. Oh, I hate that. Oh, the weather. The weather is a part of the game, man. Being able to play in that weather is proving you're good enough. What? We're only supposed to play football games in pristine conditions where there's no adverse elements. I mean, really? Okay. Well, tell that to armies when they go to war. I'm sorry, guys. Joe, the op order has been canceled. Forget the attack on the enemy. There's a slight breeze and drizzle. It's not optimal weather. We can't do it. Someone
Either that or
please
just force them to fight in the dome.
Someone please send a message to the enemy forces, tell them that we have to take a forced day off because, the weather's not good.
Yeah. Or tell them to meet us at the dome. We'll fight at the dome.
I mean, I'm sorry. When I hear people make that comment, it reminds me of like some of the stupidest. I don't want to call people stupid, but it reminds me of those comments like, "Oh, it's just terrible that the playoff game is decided by weather. It should never be like that. Why didn't the General Schwarzkopf tell us exactly what time the invasion was kick off and the location? Oh, that's not fair to the news cameras for being there. Oh, what do you mean they didn't tell us about the surprise attack on Maduro? They should have given us 18 hours of notice on the media so we could have covered it better. Yeah, okay. It's like, come on, people. I mean,
I don't think that what you're talking about is stupid people. I think what you're talking about is whiny low T soy boys, dude. That's what I think you're talking about.
Stop talking about Minnesota's governor and Minneapolis mayor like that.
Because I just saw a post. Literally, I was just cruising Reddit, and I subscribe to the BJJ subreddit, and this, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but I'm assuming it's a guy based on the tone of it. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't really want to train with the guys that I train with anymore because they all support ICE. Like, what a low T fucking post, man. Like, dude, like, who gives a fuck what you like in your time out of the gym, bro? Like, I don't care if you like. I don't care if you're a furry in your time outside of the gym. If you're tough enough to come train, then fuck it, dude. Like, it's just crazy to me. People are such whiners now, dude.
I mean, we try to leave the politics and religion out of the sports podcast, right? We delve in there. We dip the toe in every so often, fine. But it's like, I don't want to. Oh my God, my next door neighbor is a Packers fan. Literally, dude. Think about it. I live in Florida, right? What are the odds that neighbors would be Bears and Packer fans? Yes, that's what we have, right? And
well, at least you got a good neighbor.
Do you like the guy? I was just gonna ask, do you like the guy?
Yeah. In fact, I just invited him over to the house for the Super Bowl party.
There you go.
So I mean, we get along. Like I said, he lives right behind me. We have the exact same house. So every time he comes over, he comes in a man cave. He goes, oh. I think it was his mother-in-law lives in there. So my man cave is like the door behind me is the bedroom. I'm in what's the living room. I got a full bathroom. I got another room here. So it's like what they call it
a man wing.
It is a wing. It is the man wing. This is what they call like a legacy home. So like your in-law, they'd have their own bedroom, own living room, own AC, heat, own bathroom. The only thing they have to leave this area for is for basically food and drink. Well, not even drinks. I have a mini fridge in there. But I mean, this is set up so that if your parent live with you, but they're not in your face. And I actually have my own ways in and out of the house through the man cave. So he looks at me like, man, my mother-in-law lives there, so he actually can't do what I did, right? But he's cool. His kids are the kids who are outside when the water is 65 degrees.
Oh, that makes perfect sense then.
Well, no, because they're flirty and the kids are flirty and like my kid. But I mean, I don't care that he's a friggin' cheesehead. We're cool, so it doesn't matter. I can't go to the gym because it's a cheesehead. Oh, I can't work out with that person because they support a football team I don't like. And Ben Johnson did say fuck those guys, but he meant on the football field.
And that hurt my fifis.
So,
dude, people are just such low T fucking soy boys nowadays, dude. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, when as Americans did we go so fucking soft? It was like, whether you were 40 years ago, whether you were Republican or Democrat, Like, you probably just came back from fucking Vietnam. Like, you were a fucking killer, dude. Like, you
Well,
weren't
like,
bitching about this kind of shit. Like,
look, some stuff should be universal. Going to the gym shouldn't matter. Watching a football game
yeah,
shouldn't matter. You know,
training martial arts.
being a family member
Mhm.
shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
You
who's
know,
invited to
but
Thanksgiving?
I mean, look, I can
Oh,
understand how there'll be families ripped apart on the West Coast because of the Super Bowl matchup. Oh wait, no, they won't because they're not that stupid. Um, Even though the fan bases are relatively close, this is not like a Bears Colts Super Bowl where their fan bases kind of intersect, right, with borders. I mean, Denver and Seattle, they don't really share any coverage area,
Mm.
so it's going to be pretty clean that way. So you
Oh
don't
no,
have
you
to
mean
worry
New
about
England?
or New England. I'm sorry, yeah. I don't know why I said Denver, New England, and I mean, whole country apart. So there
Hey,
shouldn't
can we
be any,
well,
can
you
we
know.
talk about some of the surprises from yesterday? Was anybody else surprised that like Jared Stidham came out and threw a 50-yard bomb just to start the fucking game, dude?
To
They're up
No,
start the
7-0.
no, because
start
you
the
know what?
game, yes, but
I'm
his
not at
play
all.
overall, no.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
but
not
I
at
mean,
all
like,
because
were you surprised that
wouldn't you?
Denver came out and jumped out to a 7-0 lead with their backup quarterback? I was
Yes,
like,
I
I was
was.
a little bit surprised by that.
I wasn't at all because I figured that's a Sean Payton thing to do, man. Come out and just look at show him no fear right off
yeah,
the and he did that.
yeah, yeah. And I would have expected that too. Like, when your team's playing a backup QB, you don't expect nothing from him at all. So let him go ahead and surprise them with any kind of play that he played that
Yeah.
comes out successful. You'll see what you got
hmm
then.
It was a beautiful throw to Mims too. Like, and then Tariq Woolen, dude, he is so lucky they won that fucking game, dude. Because he would have been getting his ass kicked in that locker room, dude. Like, bro, how
It,
do you how do you
That
how do you get flagged 15? It's fourth down. You just held them. You're about to get the ball back. You go taunt their sideline and get a 15-yard penalty and a first down. And then on the very next play, you get cooked for the 50-yard touchdown.
oh, hold on. Does anybody else have the bitch about the taunt like that being a penalty? Because you'll sit there and you'll let the offensive guys dance all over and do all
Yeah,
this
I mean,
crazy shit in
I
the end
think it's
zone,
like
and
let
all
him
he did was talk a little bit of shit going by.
let him talk shit. But here's the funnier piece: Denver, you just got a favor done to you. New England did a favor by beating you yesterday. Now you don't have to worry about a quarterback controversy in the next year.
I was just saying to the old lady before that game
mhm,
that Bo Nix is about to get Carson Wentz.
right.
Mm.
So they avoided that. That's good for them. I'll tell you what, for the Rams game, dude, that muffed kick, like I was
Yeah.
like, really?
Ooh.
And then what was amazing is right after that, like Stafford gets the ball, throws it to tight end, throws it to Devontae. And I'm on the phone with my buddy. I'm like, hold on, he's gonna throw a touchdown pass to Devontae. Okay, he threw the touchdown pass to Devontae. What were you saying now? It took him 3 plays to get the touchdown back. But I was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
that game was insane too.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Mhm,
But Tariq Woolen he almost cost his
yeah,
team everything the whole season.
mhm,
Like, it's bad enough that you got the penalty, right? Okay, you got the penalty.
Then you
Now
get
your
ripped
team
up.
is already backed up, but then you get cooked for the fucking 50-yarder the very next play. Like,
I think the penalty is kind of stupid, and him getting ripped on the very next play is not a good look for him either. But I mean, like
well,
a game should not be decided because there's some trash talk on the field of battle.
Yep.
What happened to football being the field of battle? Since when did this become I care about your feelings league? I
yeah,
mean, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Like, wait, look
I
at
totally agree.
you don't think we talk trash on the battlefield? You don't watch vet TV at all ever. Some of that stuff doesn't happen. Well, a lot of that stuff doesn't happen, but we think it. Like you guys have probably seen the ads on Facebook with the John Madden style call of them, taking out Taliban. Like we think it, we might not do it, but we think it because dude, we're talking so much trash on the battlefield. Can you imagine if General Patton, I'm sorry, General, you have to give 50 miles of land to Rommel for taunting him on the play.
Joe, we got
Really?
our MMA fan back.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man.
This guy's a riot.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Like taunting is like it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I think that would have been more of a travesty in telling you how bad the NFL's gotten in certain ways. The fact, I mean, the fact he got ripped 50 yards after that didn't help. But I mean, just the penalty in of itself is like, dude, come on.
And how
Like,
long did we
you
see
can't talk
cornerbacks
trash
get
because you might
pounded?
hurt their feelings. Oh, it's such a bad example for kids. Are you kidding me? Have you
Oh man.
seen
And then
what?
that holding call at the very when the Seahawks, it was like 3 minutes left and the Seahawks were trying to kill the clock and it was third down and they got that holding call on the Rams and it was a legitimate call. Like he was holding him. I'm just like, bro, you can't do that, man. Like of all the times to get handsy, you know they're gonna be watching you, dude, and it's like you just handed them the game, bro. Like, yeah, but
Mhm.
the Rams, it was a great game both ways, man. Stafford did Stafford things. Sam Darnold did some Sam Darnold things.
No, Sam Darnold didn't do Sam Darnold things. That's the highlight.
Well, I mean,
Right.
He did that. He
And
did have some beautiful.
why is it that Sam Darnold things always have to be negative? Like the dude threw for how many
Because
touchdowns this
because
year?
we
Like,
because yes, he's done great this year, but that will not make us forget the whole beginning of his career. Even with the Vikings during his resurgence, it ended with him doing Sam Darnold things.
okay, well, let me ask you this:
right.
if Darnold goes out and wins the Super Bowl, is that narrative going to change? You think?
It's gonna help change the narrative. Yes.
Yeah, a little
Yes.
bit.
And it's definitely gonna be hurt. But you want to know which fan base will be hurt the most watching Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl?
The
Minnesota.
Vikings.
Exactly.
Well, actually, no, AW they won't because none of them are going to be able to watch the TV because their city's on fire anyway. So
Well, here's the deal. There's two different former Vikings that's going to be playing in the Super Bowl that they wouldn't want to see get a ring. Not just Sam Darnold, but there's also their former receiver, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. So either way, the Vikings are going to lose this Super Bowl. Could that not be a more Vikings thing to lose a Super Bowl that you're not even a part of?
hey, well, think about it this way: Cooper Cup beating his former team yesterday.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was I'm rooting for Sam Darnold because it would be the first time like you get to see somebody actually change the narrative. You know, like he was by all accounts he was considered a bust, and then all of a sudden he had that year in Minnesota, and then the very next year if he goes on and wins a Super Bowl, it's like you it's hard to call a guy who won a Super Bowl, especially after that career start, a bust.
It really gives
Mhm.
guys like Rob and whatnot, our Vikings guys from Valhalla Hour, more ammo to get rid of Quezzy because they don't. A lot of those guys don't like Quezzy, and you want to talk about of any guy winning Super Bowl that's going to pain a fan base though. Look, it's right. It's Sam Darnold because if he wins it, right, they're going. That should be us. We let him go for JJ McCarthy. You know, Quezzy needs to be gone. You're going to start hearing about KOC being fired. They're going to want Quezzy fired because you just let a quarterback go. You let him walk out the door. It's not like the Lions where you traded Stafford for Goff and you understood, hey, we're a crap team. You know, and remember when they made the trade, all the Lions were like, dude, go get you a ring, man. You deserve it. Right? To a fault, Lions fans like, go get a ring. You deserve it. And with this, it's like you just let Darnold walk out the door. You didn't get anything for it. Now he's going to walk out the very next year. At minimum, he's an NFC champ. He's the NFC champ this year, and he's going to the Super Bowl. That should be you, but no, you were too cheap to spend the money, Quezzy, and you put all the trust in JJ McCarthy, your quarterback, who's never played a single down in the NFL in the regular season, because he tore an ACL the year before, and he was injury prone in college as well. And you said, oh well, you know what? Being injury prone in college doesn't mean you're going to be injury prone in the NFL. On what planet? And look what happened to your season. Yeah, you finished 9-8 like the rest of the division, right? Oh, I'm sorry. The Packers were 9-7-1, and the Bears won 11 games. But you were 9-8. You had a winning season, yay! But you should be in the Super Bowl right now. That's where your quarterback is.
Fred, I think if Darnold wins this Super Bowl, he's going to get a nice little raise, dude.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Well, think about it. I'm sure he's got bonuses written to his contract too, so he's gonna get a nice big chunk of change in the bonuses for that too.
Hey, I hear you there, David. Me too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because Darnold signed a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Seahawks, I'm assuming it's probably 2 years and a void year, right? Like they probably gave him like 60 or 70
mutual
guarantees.
void, yeah.
So it's like if he wins the Super Bowl this year, I guarantee you the Seahawks are going to extend him, and he'll see a nice pay increase.
Yeah, I mean, and, it's funny if you're Geno Smith, you're going.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Geno is actually sitting there wondering because all he has to do is go turn the tape on from this year, and it'll start to make sense.
But Geno's going, why did I go to Vegas, man? I should just stay where I was. I should just stay. You know what's funny? I watched Benchwarmer yesterday. Benchwarmer called it a 7 out of 10 that Geno is out of Vegas. I'm sorry. Go ahead, AW. You were trying to say something.
Yeah. I was about to say, if anything else, I think you guys can speak about is some of the new hires that took place this past weekend. One of them being, one of them being Mike McCarthy is now the Steelers' new head coach, and for the NFC North, Green Bay found their new DC and Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about either of them, to be honest with you. I mean, Gannon is a DC. Oh, okay. I mean, that might be a good hire. I don't think he's Jeff Hafley. So I'm like, either way, I'm like, okay.
He did have very good defenses with the Eagles when he was their DC.
Jeff Hafley was defensive coordinator you've had in Green Bay like almost forever. That dude was good.
Hey, Dom Capers was damn good his first couple of years, but fell off.
Yeah, I'll give Capers some credit too, because Capers like in other places too, but like the Gannon thing, I saw that, I'm like, okay, it kind of makes some sense, right? Former head coach, going to be a DC now, back in the division, fine, but yeah, he's not Hafley. And then McCarthy going, how old is McCarthy?
I don't.
He's about a couple of years past 60. He's in his 60s right
Mike
now.
McCarthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's going to break the Steeler mold of being there 10 to 15 years, because I don't see him going to 75.
Hey,
so I'm wondering if he's a bridge coach.
I just want to address that comment.
Right.
I don't think he's looking to renegotiate per se. I think the Seahawks are going to push to extend him if he wins the Super Bowl, because they realize, well, we only have him under contract technically for one more year, and then we have a void year with probably no guaranteed money. Like, they're gonna want to at least sign him to an extension.
I don't think Darnold's looking for a renegotiate. I think they're just going to extend him. So, I mean, okay. I mean, the whole comment. Not up there, but he says, and do you think he should be able to renegotiate after a year? Play the contract. What happened to that? Nothing. They're going to want to extend him after winning a Super Bowl.
It's not him, it's them.
The fans are going to demand it a little bit too. The fans are going to want to see that, right? And that's when you can get away with stuff like that, because everyone's feeling good. You just won the Super Bowl. Let's say he wins the Super Bowl. Everyone's feeling good. You won the Super Bowl. Hey, we extended Darnold for an extra 2 years and $100 million. So we renegotiated his contract. Gave him 2 extra years, so they call it an extension, and we gave him $100 million, whatever that is, to make it where he's making, like, now instead of making $30 million a year, he's making like 48 or 50 or whatever. But that's how they do it, especially if he wins the MVP. If Darnold goes out there, wins the Super Bowl, and wins the Super Bowl MVP, oh yeah, they're going to give him a renegotiation with an extension of 2 years and a big payday. I mean, look at there's precedents. Joe Flacco, right? So I mean. You see that from time to time with guys like Peyton Manning was already getting paid huge when he beat the Bears. I mean, they didn't have to renegotiate him; he was already getting paid huge. But these lesser quarterbacks, if you will, they kind of tend to get that renegotiation where the team goes, "Hey, we're going to give you an extra 2 years and a pile of money. What do you say?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll take a pile of money."
I also think Mike McCarthy to the Steelers, I was saying this last week before they hired him, that Like, is he the best candidate for them? I don't know, but he does provide offensive consistency for a team that has lacked offensive consistency for a long
Well,
time, dude.
and I could see him being a bridge coach because let's say, okay, look, you got Kyler
Mhm.
Murray who might fit there because they look at
Yeah.
Justin Fields did really really well there. Kyle Murray and Justin Fields, the differences in game style play, I don't think is that huge, right? They're both very mobile running quarterbacks with cannons. So he kind of would fit there, but I think you bring McCarthy back as a bridge because Aaron comes back for a year. And
Yeah.
now look at this whole Aaron McCarthy thing. You talk to some Packer fans like, well, Aaron, that's a great match. They're going to love each other again. They won a Super Bowl together, blah, blah, blah. Then you talk to some fans like, hell no, they hated each other at the end. Then you talk to other fans and, yeah, you know what, though? They loved each other, then they hated each other, and they both now realize coming together is going to be a good thing. So take that for what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bury the hatchet, but there is absolutely no doubt at all in my mind that those two hated each other at the end of their Green Bay tenure.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
Yeah.
but him
And
being there, like Rodgers stays. If Rodgers plays, it's because of that, though, because he's there, because it's familiarity. He doesn't want to learn a whole new coach, a whole new system. He doesn't want to do all that stuff at this point in his
Mm.
career. He's like, I just want to go out and play and win a Super Bowl. Hey, wait, I won with McCarthy 15 years ago. Well, let's just give it another rip. Who cares? It's my, it's Ricky Gervais's 5 times, right? It's my last time. Who cares? We're
Yeah.
gonna have some fun at your expense. No one cares. 5 years.
Right.
You're gonna do Gervais's it.
Yeah, well, I haven't listened to some Steeler fans talk about the hiring, and there's some of them who will pose a question that I thought was a good one to say. It was, when you look at Mike McCarthy and his resume, your thought is, how is he any different from Mike Tomlin coaching wise? Because when you look at the way those two coach, they're almost most identical in some ways, even with their resume in the regular season.
Well,
Right?
The only
McCarthy
difference
is
I can give
undoubtedly an
you-
offensive coach.
That's
I
it.
mean-
That's it. Is one's an offensive coach, one's a defensive coach. But I would think Tomlin's more intense. So intensity level might be a little different in the personality style. But I think he's more of a bridge coach because I think them hiring McCarthy is a sign that Rodgers is staying for at least one more year, if not 2, and they're going to be a bridge to something different. I think that's more or less what it kind of is. Like if they win, great. They want to win. They figure we got a team that can win now. We've got a quarterback. Yes, he's aging, but dude, like Rodgers still puts up. They're like, but dude, Rodgers still puts up numbers. We need to get him a coach he can have success with for these last year or two. Because you know what? Look, at people go, oh well, Rodgers needs to retire. Dude, that entire Steelers roster, they're falling out of whatever window they were in to begin with.
What
if you
take is
think
he
about
talking
it,
about?
that Steelers roster isn't exactly a bunch of spring chickens from top to bottom. They're kind of coming out of a window of success. They're going to be they can see the writing on the wall. Like, dude, we're not bad enough. We're getting the young draft picks to refuel us. We're not good enough. We're winning a Super Bowl. We're kind of in betweeners right now. So you know what? We got this group with big contracts. Let's see if we can get Aaron to go for another year or two. Give him a coach he's familiar with. See if they can do it for 2 years and win something for us before we tear it all down.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's because they can't afford to tear it down now. They have to wait at least a year or 2 before they can really tear it down.
So with that said, to me, the smartest strategy for them is to go all in. Like if I'm the Steelers, I say fuck those picks for the next 2 years, and I go out and I try to load this team up the best I can and seriously take a run and then tear the whole thing down in a year or 2. Like
I don't disagree with you, Joe. I can see Ken nodding in agreement, and Woody and A-Dub are behind their avatars this morning, but that's fine. Not everyone looks good.
I'm naked.
Woody,
so-
that doesn't surprise us.
Yeah, not surprising at all. But I mean, dude, like fans are more willing to take the first scenario of keep Rodgers and hire McCarthy than trade everything away and draft picks or like they don't like to spend capital. They really don't. Like fans really hate it. What do you mean you trade our first round pick unless you're getting Max Crosby? They don't want to hear it, right? Like, what do you mean you trade your in a weird way? it's an easier pill to swallow to just do what they're doing.
You're loading up on impact players to try to put you over the top.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I think
I mean,
there's a greater risk, though.
over the years, you've already seen under Mike Tomlin, the Steelers have never had a losing season. Like every other year, it's like this team is always going to be good enough to put together a winning season and make the playoffs, but don't make the necessary run.
Well-
but at the same time, they're never bad enough to score a top 10 or top 5 pick.
So
Well, this
look,
will be the
Steelers-
first losing season I'll have in 22 years.
So basically, what you're saying, A-Dub, is the Steelers are the Packers of the AFC North. That they were the best of the worst.
Yep.
And
In
that's
some ways, they
it's like the Packers, right? Like win the North every year, get in the playoffs. Don't necessarily go far in the playoffs. You know,
Not every year.
so you always end up with that with not so great first round pick. So like the Packers were never able to get that pick that put them over the top. They weren't bad enough to get that pick that put them over the top, but they were good enough to keep getting the picks that wouldn't put them over the top, but at least would make them a very competitive team to at least win the North and win 10 to 11 games or 12 games every year and go to the playoffs, but not necessarily get the playoff success because they weren't able to get the player that put them over the top, right? That's basically what the Steelers were. It's no, look, they both wear gold. I mean, maybe there's a coincidence there. I don't know. But I mean, but they're kind of like the Packers in that sense, right? I mean, and that's not a bad place to be. It's not a slam on the Packers. Don't get me wrong. It's just, we talked about this before the year started. Like the Packers have always been like even this year, good enough to make the playoffs, out early. So you're not getting a top 15 pick. You're in the back half of the draft again, so you're not going to get that offensive or defensive player that could put you over the top. Like when you get a top 10 pick, usually does. They're still stuck in that same territory of, okay, we're highly competitive. We're good enough. Now look at this year. There's a grain of salt there, right?
I was going to say that. Well, not only that, what I actually loved about this year is because of us constantly picking in the late middle of the draft, we use those picks to get Micah Parsons. When are you going to be able to use those type of picks on a player of that caliber?
But that's the difference. This year you manufactured that by making the trade. But
Here
the
we
way you
go.
guys were normally doing it is kind of like what the Steelers have been doing. So, do the Steelers, like, is McCarthy a bridge that he's there with Rodgers for Rodgers' last year, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe at the most 3, and make it, and these guys wait, they all kind of age out and go out, and then they strip it all down, and they suck for a year or 2 finally, and then they start to do the rebuild. Because look, it can take 2 years to completely redo your team. We've seen what 2 or 3 years of good drafting does, right? So, I mean, could that be the game plan? Like, hey, let's see if Cam can get it. And some of these guys who've been with Pittsburgh forever, let them see if they can get one. And it makes the fans a little bit happy because would you rather let Cam retire as Steeler or you trade Cam Hayward? You know what I mean? I think the fans are happier to see him retire there in a weird way.
Yeah, Watt too, probably.
Hold on. Micah Parsons type of players come out yearly. That's
Jared.
news.
And then you bring up Jared Verse.
What? Did I read that? Hey, whoa.
Jared Verse and
Let
Micah
me
Parsons
read that
are
a
equal now?
fucking minute. Give me a second. Give me a
That's-
second. Oh, he's from Penn State. That's why they say that.
Of all the takes, of all the takes, that's certainly one of them.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
that's what I'm talking from. Like you're the I'm not saying I don't want to call the Packers a middle of the road team or the Steelers, but in essence they kind of are, right? And they're it's hard and they had to manufacture that that up.
Yeah, trust me, John. Trust me, John. Some Steeler fans have been saying that for a while. They wanted to get a rebuild started over there.
Yeah,
It's just that
That's what we're
it's just
saying,
that
David.
it's
You
just
just
that
said-
their GM Art Rooney supposedly doesn't believe in that. They would tell you.
Like
Wait,
you're the one who brought up Verse, right? Like we're
Yeah.
like since when are Verse and Micah Parsons the same player? Like
Yeah,
they're
why?
definitely not.
Yeah, Wyatt. Verse is good, but he ain't Parsons. Just shut the
And
fuck up.
and here's my thing
Well,
is
no,
like with the
no.
Steelers, like so. I maybe I'm in the minority, but I actually think, like I said, McCarthy provides some offensive stability for them. And if your vision is we know that our window is closing, we want to try to maximize and try to get a ring before we tear this thing down, then why wouldn't you go out like this year's free agent class? For example, I think Tariq Woolen is a free agent, and despite the play that that series of 2 or 3 plays that he had yesterday, he's a very good corner. Like
Yeah, I
he
mean,
could be available.
yeah, but
Tyler
they're
Linderbaum,
hamstrung financially, though. I don't think the Steelers have a ton of money in the cap.
I'm sure they can squeeze a few
Right.
dollars here and there.
Right.
And they
I
have
mean,
draft picks that they could trade, like I would be
and
looking for some guys that
Uh,
go ahead.
and not to mention the Steelers, most of their money was spent on that defense of theirs. Like when one, I think somebody was mentioning like the Steelers had the most expensive defense in the NFL. Like the majority of that defense was a bunch of high priced veterans out there.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2026, here's where the Steelers would sit today: 60 on the active roster, really good. That I mean, there are a lot of zeros there.
did you say 60?
Patrick, that's for guaranteed. 60 million. They have 60 on the roster. They have 37 million in cap. However, they
Jesus.
still got to pay possibly Aaron Rodgers. You figure you got to pay for a quarterback, and you've got your draft picks, so that takes up to 37 million. But they're going to get another 20 million or so from the NFL. So let's call it 57 million. But you got to pay Rodgers, and you got to pay your draft pick. But yeah, like T.J. Watt's cap number next year, 42 million. DK Metcalf, 31. Highsmith, 20. Jalen Ramsey is almost 20. Cam Hayward is 19. Patrick Queen is 17 million. Firemouth is 11. They got some room. I mean, look, you got 60 guys in your roster, so you got some room. They got some money. I don't know if they're going to have money to go sign any kind of the bigger players. And I'm sorry, David, but like every year you don't get a generational player. And as I say that, I also want to say I think this term generational player is way overused. Maybe we need to redefine generational players every 4 years, because maybe 4 years is a generation in NFL life. Because I'm sorry, Jared Verse and Micah Parsons are not the same. Jared Verse is even not on Max. Like, put this
Is
way,
he
the
a
guys I
Rams
put ahead
fan?
of Jared Verse, I put
He's a Bears
Crosby.
fan.
He's a
put
Bears
Crosby
fan? He's
ahead of-
complaining. Ken, we can't claim this motherfucker. We can't. No, we can't.
But I mean,
That's
Hey, but like the Steelers' defensive
ends I
room,
put ahead of Verse.
the Steelers'
Verse is still
defensive
young,
room
okay,
is the
great.
highest paid. The Steelers' defensive room is the highest paid. Just forget what White is saying; he's out of his mind. But Steelers' defensive room is the highest paid in the league.
Let me try to defend David for a minute. Verse is had a good playoff run. He's a young player. He's showing potential. Could he be a Micah Parsons like player over the next year or two? I mean, the potential is definitely there. He's got the potential, but you go back to his original claim. His original claim is there's a Micah Parsons in every draft. That part I'll disagree with. But I would say that, because people go, well, Micah Parsons is a generational player. Of course, there's not a player like him every draft. Well, that's right, diverge. I say, well, we got to stop wondering how we use. There's so many generational players at defensive end right now, right? T.J. Watt's a generational player. Max Crosby's a generational player. Garrett, generational player. Ask the Lions fan, Hutch is a generational player. All these generational
but that's only
players
Lions
play
fans.
the same generation.
Well, with those comments, I'm putting clothes on. Give me a second.
I think like David's wrong, but he's not terribly wrong. I think we overuse the term generational player. I think a guy who could be, look at Micah Parsons is you get a guy like Micah Parsons seem like every 2 or 3 years, or a guy like what becomes what's his name down in with the Texans, like
Look.
Talking about Will Anderson Jr.
Will Anderson, yeah.
the
You
correct
can put him in.
terminology
Dude.
is there are players that are outliers, right? You know what I mean? They're outliers. They're outside of kind of the proverbial box. You know what I mean? That play beyond, you know what I mean, what they are. But the list generational player coming out of every draft, it just doesn't happen. There's some players that do meet that outlier thing, but a generational player is a generational player.
Mm.
And there's a few players in this league that have that label. You know what I mean?
I
Myles
think they need
Garrett.
to redefine it.
Yeah.
I think because we think generation, we think of a decade, right?
Yeah.
About a decade to a decade and a half is generational. I think though I think we got to redefine that as far as NFL life. So what's the average life of an NFL player? Anywhere from what? On average,
what
3 to 5.
Depends on what position. Yeah.
depends. If running back's probably like 3 to 4 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just in
Yeah.
the aggregate, the overall, if you took an average of all NFL players, probably somewhere around 3 to 5 years. So it's called generational player every 4 years. We'll split the difference there. So like I could buy that like every 4 years. That's a new NFL generation. Because if you think about it, it takes about 4 years in a league. Like we go, okay, now we're going to be a run league, and the first year or two, there's only like 1 or 2 teams that do it. But 4 years later, everyone has it. So that's like a generational shift, right? So let's call it 4 years for sake of argument. Like, okay, that would make a little more sense. But even then, you've got so many you got more than 4 generational players at defensive edge right now. You know, so I mean, we still overuse the term.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Well,
I take Will
is
Anderson.
this-
I would take Will Anderson Jr. over Jared Verse right now. That guy's a sick freak, dude.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
wow.
And there's also, you know what's another term that's being overused is GOAT, greatest of all time. You know what I
yes.
mean? There's not, it used to be one player is the GOAT, right?
Mhm.
And now everybody is the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, this
Wow.
player's the GOAT. Oh, this player's the GOAT. It's
Well,
being overused.
Look,
Well,
there's only
my
one
gener-
GOAT. His
my-
name is
my-
Michael Jordan.
my generation for football, the GOAT's Tom Brady. Plain and simple. And just each sport has a GOAT. Like Ken said, Michael Jordan in our time was the GOAT for basketball. Not LaFlop, it's Jordan. Don't get me started on that fucking subject. I'll put a shirt on right now.
I think actually, what you could see in the NFL, you could probably call Brady the GOAT all time because of his success. I mean, there's no one even close in matching it.
No.
But like, I think the thing like with Brady and Jordan, you know what's different with those two guys? I think why you could say those two guys
One's black, one's
are
white.
legit the GOATs of their sports, period. In both cases, the guys that other people put in the conversation about being the GOAT, right? When they talk to them, like when you talk to guys in the NBA about who's the greatest of all time, Kareem, Magic, Bird, all these guys say the same thing. You know, even the guys who are even back in the 50s, 60s, 70s that came before they were playing, they all say the same thing. Oh, it's Jordan. When you talk to these NFL guys and they say, well, who's the GOAT? You talk to the older quarterbacks and defensive tackles,
Yeah.
guys who were already in the Hall of Fame by the time Brady started playing. They'll all say, oh, it's Brady. That's the difference with Brady and Jordan. It's not like just of their generation, but the players from the generations before them, like even Wilt Chamberlain would call MJ the GOAT.
Wow.
That's the difference.
Yeah, it used to be
These old school guys who you put in the GOAT conversation still defer to that other guy as the GOAT. And then you got
social media
GOAT and proclaims it, and everyone's like, nah, dude.
Social media ruined it. Like it used to be a concrete term, now it's a subjective term. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
Ken,
just-
we got to ask ourselves. You know, Tom Brady's 2000s. What is our football GOAT in our time, back in the 80s and stuff like that? Because right now people are comparing Jordan and LaFlop. Obviously, LaFlop is playing in a lot easier league than what Jordan was because it's a totally different game.
I'd say
Can
it
you
was
believe in
Montana.
magic? Oh,
Yeah.
Montana,
To go to your question, I mean, look at Chicago. I mean, our GOAT. I think prior to Brady, a lot of people could have made the argument that Walter Payton would have been in that conversation, right? And I think he always is. And Barry Sanders and Brown, those three guys are probably were the conversation piece because it seemed for whatever reason the running back was looked at as the GOAT, not the quarterback. It wasn't yet a quarterback league. I mean, because you're really good quarterbacks. Your guys with multiple rings like Brady, Aikman, whatever. They weren't like they weren't
Standout.
special.
I,
But
Standout.
but it was a more running back centric league. So guys were looking at old names like Jim Brown. They were looking at Walter Payton. They were looking at
Emmett
those
Smith.
running backs. Emmett Smith was in that conversation. Yeah.
Look,
And that was and think about before Brady, the conversation always revolved on, well, who's the best running back of all time? Because whoever that was the GOAT. And
Yeah.
then Brady changed that. And the
Yep.
league became quarterback driven, and Brady changed that. So and there was a good debate before Brady got kind of anointed the GOAT, because it still is a debate. Who's the best running back of all time? Dude, you'll ask that question. You'll hear Barry Sanders, you'll hear Emmett Smith, but Emmett Smith, to his credit, always bows out of that, says, no, it wasn't me. But it would be either Jim Brown, Emmett Smith, or Walter Payton. Those are the three names that get bounced, and the arguments for those are just all valid, all ridiculous.
I think
Yeah,
Marcus
Lawrence
Allen should be
Taylor.
in that conversation too.
I love
Lawrence
Marcus
Taylor.
Allen, too.
Marcus Allen was pretty fucking good too, dude.
It is
Yeah,
a,
Marcus Allen.
it is a team sport too. Like Emmett Smith, with when he broke the record and stuff like that. Jesus Christ, me and Joe could have been leading rushers behind that fucking offensive line.
Well,
And look at the
that's
panel.
what-
Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
the panel this: did we ever hear the term "goat" when we were young? We didn't,
No.
right? You know what I mean?
No.
None of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Social
but you
media.
did it.
Social media came up with that term. It did. Greatest of all time. What didn't even go in anybody's mind.
You heard it, but not you know. I mean, Isaac, I'll
Yeah.
push back just a touch. You heard it, but not like you do now. It was
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
more of a
exactly.
it was used much differently and not as often.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
time before all the social media craze I had ever heard anybody referred to as a GOAT was Muhammad Ali. That was
Yeah.
that was the only person I've
Well-
ever heard.
Well,
referred
thanks
to.
to thanks to Isaac. I didn't know what GOAT stand for, but thank you for that.
I'm gonna send you a speaking spell, damn it. No, look, Muhammad Ali, he coined it because he coined it on himself. He said, "I'm the greatest." You know, that's when people are saying, "Oh, he's the greatest of all
backed it up,
time."
though,
You know what I
too.
mean? Yeah, like that was part of his, catchphrases. Is "I'm the
Well, of
greatest."
course.
You know what
Well, of course, his dad was his agent.
I mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
no, the greatest.
that's
No,
the
the
best.
go-
That's the best debate in football. Is the best running back of all time debate because then some people want to throw in LaDainian Tomlinson.
I would be that guy.
Some
Hey,
people are
hey,
going to want to start
Woody.
throwing in. Look at Derrick
put
Henry.
Napoleon
Derrick
Kaufman.
Henry's going to enter that conversation at some point.
And I got one for you who's kind of an outlier because he didn't get to finish his career, but Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was
Goddamn
thinking-
Raiders,
so I was
man.
thinking the same thing.
Hey, Woody,
Dude.
you're wrong about the agent thing. The GOAT agent is Kirk Cousins' agent. There's no debate about that.
No debate,
None.
right?
That's
All right. So
great.
speaking of which, someone asked earlier in the show, and we kind of glossed over because we're talking about other things. But the Isaac invoked the name of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Here's the thing: a lot of trade stuff on him. Bench warmer. I mean, first off, the dude's shorts are funny, but he did his top 10 trade possibility guys. And when it comes to Kurt, he had an interesting take, and I want to see what you guys think about it. His take is that while a lot of people feel he'll be traded because of the contract, blah, 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 he wants a place to be a legitimate starter, doesn't want to just be there till Penix comes back. However, Penix isn't going to be back for a while. So maybe do they keep Cousins? So is Cousins, what do you guys think? Is Cousins still with the Falcons when the season starts? Or is he at one of these other QB needy teams? And no, it's not going to be the Vikings. The Vikings will never take Kirk Cousins back because they'll prove that they were wrong. They should have just kept him. Right? So he won't go back because that says to Quezzy, you should have never let me leave to begin with. And that's like saying fire me. So
Well,
I think he goes anywhere but Minnesota.
That's
What
a
do you guys
double edged. That's a double edged sword because I believe still to this day that every team should have a veteran quarterback presence if you have a young guy starting. But on the other hand, is Kirk Cousins' contract. So I'm still up in the air with that. But veteran presence is key at a team. You have a young
If
quarterback
Rodgers
playing.
doesn't come back, what about Pittsburgh?
Ooh, Will Howard. He's going to be. That's a good one.
Hmm.
Wow.
Maybe the Jets.
No,
Don't
put
that on the
that's
man.
what the Keebler Alpha is
Oh,
going to
they got the star Justin Fields there. I'm not worried about that. Too.
I could see the Jets maybe
Mhm.
taking a swing. Maybe the Cardinals could take a swing if they're going to get rid of Kyler.
Yeah.
I thought Jacoby Brissett was the final decision for
Yeah,
them.
I'm
Dude,
not
he helped
saying
me
they
in
should. I'm
fantasy.
saying I think they could. Like, I actually, if you're not going to get a quarterback in this year's draft, I think you should just roll it with Jacoby Brissett again, and
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, Brissett played pretty well. You know what I mean?
the other question is, what are the Giants going to do? Are they going to Winston, Russell Wilson? I mean,
Oh, no.
no, they're dark.
Russell's gone.
Nah,
Oh,
Yeah, they're
dark.
dark.
Jackson Darts solidified himself as their starter.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I give.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
you got to think though. You give Jackson Dart another 2-3 years. If he's running like the fuck he is, he's going to be dead by then.
They'll keep
Yeah.
Winston as a backup.
or maybe-
Winston's a good
or-
backup. They'll keep Winston.
Or maybe the Miami Dolphins could take a chance on him since Tua might be out the door for them.
Oh yeah.
That's another guy. And even when Tua said, I wouldn't mind going somewhere, a fresh start somewhere new, it sounds like he's going to be gone. But once again, the problem with Tua is his contract.
His
Well,
contract is almost untradeable.
I wasn't saying that Kirk Cousins would go to the Giants. That was just another team I was just concerned about. I'm not stupid,
No,
so I put a shirt
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
they're gonna, I think though the answer to your question there, Woody, is crab legs ends up because you know
Crab
what?
legs.
Winston's one of those guys who, like, the locker room loves him. He's a solid backup. He's a team guy. You've never heard anyone say anything bad about him in the locker room when he's as a backup, and he's a serviceable backup at that. So he's kind of like he's like the perfect backup. He's like Tyson Bagent. Everyone likes him. He can play pretty solidly if needed, and he's not going to cost you a shitload of money. So he's kind of like the guy they have up in Green Bay. Same thing. People up there like him. He can come in and start for a game or two if you need him, and he's going to do well. Now Green Bay's got a question with Malik, and that are they going to be able? How much money do they have to go out, or is he a starting gig?
Well,
But I mean, I think that's what they do in New York. That's just kind of makes economic sense. They don't have to spend a lot of money in the quarterback position.
well, I got a question for you guys too for the stupid ass Super Bowl coming up, which I think I'll be not watching the halftime show. But anyway, do you think Russell Wilson will talk to Sam Darnold and say, "Hey, do not throw a slant pass at the 1 yard line"?
No, you know what he's going to have? It's not going to be him. It's Marshawn Lynch is like, dude, give
Fucking
your back the
dumbass.
damn rock.
That was the fucking most stupidest play in a Super Bowl ever. Stupid.
Hey, I'm sorry though. Like, I know you guys addressed the game already, but like that cup catch, first of all, that wasn't a first down. You know what I mean? They didn't even measure it. They like took 20 seconds to look at it, and they just went forward and gave him a first down. And second of all, people are questioning if it even is a catch. You know what I mean? Like,
So
yeah, he
Isaac,
caught.
that brings up a bigger point. I
Yeah,
think we got to is it seems to me like in the regular season,
Bless
dude,
you,
in the
Joe.
regular season they take more time, right? Like this is the playoffs, dude. If there's any time you want to make sure you have it right, it's the friggin' playoffs.
yeah,
And Isaac, to me, it sounds like, and maybe I think you agree with me. I also felt it like sometimes they rush through these calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the regular season, they would be more willing to take their time on it. In the offseason, they just rush through it like, okay, it was the first down. Like, wait a minute, if this were a regular season game, we'd be going to commercial break while New York looked at it and you did a digital remaster of it, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's the playoffs. Like, oh, yeah, it's the first down. Let's go.
yeah, and a
I
critical
felt
part
like
of the
that-
game too.
I
But-
felt
but-
like that cup catch actually did more to fuel the question of what exactly constitutes a catch, because
Right.
he had it, he went down, and then he lost it when he hit the ground. So it's like, I thought you had to survive the ground on a catch. Like,
Well, let's even
what
look at
didn't
the
they just say
game-ending
that
catch.
last week? And then now all of a sudden, no, that's a catch. It's like,
The
so what is a
game-ending
catch?
The
Exactly.
game-ending catch where they said he didn't get out of bounds, they took a net, not even 2 seconds. Oh, yeah, he was in bounds. You watch the replay.
Yep.
His knee comes down in bounds.
Chin down.
Like that's happening. It's almost simultaneous. I'm sorry. If this were the regular season, they're taking 3 minutes of instant replay to look at while they talk about it. But it's the
Yeah.
end of the game. We want Seattle to go to the Super Bowl. Everyone, I mean, there should have been possibly one more play in that game.
No, shin
they were
down.
No,
That's all they
no,
said.
his knee was down, so
Shin
like
down.
that constitutes as down in bounds. So I understand that part. That is clear cut because his knee was down inside in bounds and the clock runs out. But
Yeah, but what I'm
that
saying is though it was close enough where during the season they would have taken a full instant replay look at that. It would have been like
Oh
a
yeah.
full minute. And
Yeah.
oh, it's the playoffs. Oh no, knee was down. I mean,
Right.
it was like
They missed a couple calls. They missed that Stafford face mask as well.
Yep.
yeah, that was huge too. Like
Yep.
Stafford, like how do you not see that? And the ref is right there, standing right there, and his face mask is
He-
dude, you know
he
what's
actually
funny,
cur-
though, this
yeah,
year?
he-
You've got a guy whose sole job on the field is to watch the quarterback, the referee. And how many face masks on quarterbacks were missed this year that
Oh
were
my
so
God.
obvious? Jeremy could see it when he's not even looking at his TV outside smoking a cigarette with his glasses on. Like, for instance,
JB saw in Braille.
like look at the Vikings, the Vikings game where the guy turned Caleb Williams' head all the way around, almost like The Exorcist, with the line or the referee looking directly at him, and they missed that face mask. There were a lot of those games this year.
And he said, "Hi, look at me." Yeah, right. When you have the quarterback's eyes looking at that back the back referee and stuff like
Back
that,
judge there.
dude. What the fuck, dude? Come on.
And they're like locked. Their eyes are locked. They're looking at each other. Hey, you. This is me getting face mask. Hey, you. I see you. I'm not throwing a flag.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like, really? You know.
He's probably smiling. The rest probably smiling at him too. Ha, motherfucker. Yeah, right. Douchebag.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Like, I saw Cup take steps, but I didn't really see anything that I thought constituted a football move. Like he took steps. He had the requisite number of steps. I don't know. When I watched that live, I thought I don't know if that should be a catch. But
Yeah.
I wasn't upset
Either
that they
way.
called it a catch. Like because he did have control, and then the ground caused the ball to come out. But
Look, let's be honest. Once Denver got eliminated and that feel-good story was over with, and New England was once again going to be the Super Bowl, the NFL said, you know what? No one's going to watch because our halftime show is going to suck ass anyways. So let's just
No
bring teams to the Super Bowl that
way.
no one gives a shit about.
Yeah,
went
no,
to
I
a
mean, there's a
dating
great
party.
area now. Now the NFL needs the community or the Shield needs the question on the catch now because now it's survive the ground between making a football move. So there's a gray area, and that's what Cup landed in last
Here's the
night.
funnier part. Go back and watch some of the greatest games of all time, be it playoff games, Super Bowls, and look at some of the catches that were ruled touchdowns. In today's NFL, they would have been incomplete passes.
Yeah, Des Bryant, that was a catch. So
That
that's all I got to
At
say.
the time, the rules that said it wasn't a catch.
yeah, I just want to throw this out there, like before we run out of time. One thing that gave me a great deal of personal satisfaction yesterday is Devontae Adams not getting to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, and 5.
Dude, he had a game though yesterday.
Oh,
man.
and
Like
5.
I said, I was on the phone with my
5.
buddy when they did the muff. They said, all right, Seattle just went up by 2 scores. I'm like, oh wait, Stafford just threw his tight end, just threw Devontae. Hold on 1 second, he's gonna throw a touch on Devontae. Oh, okay, there it is. That was insane yesterday.
Sorry,
Like,
Devontae.
did have a good game.
Oh, and
Go-
5,
go-
Devontae.
Sorry, Devontae. Go get you one of those Cantina chicken tacos and call
I
it
do
a
love
day,
the
sir.
Taco Bell.
We've seen it countless times when a guy is contacted before they can make a step for a football move. They go to the ground, they come up without the ball. 99% of the time, it's called incomplete,
Yeah.
except for one.
Yeah, I
Actually,
don't get
two
that.
now.
If as a running back, the second your knee hits the ground, you're down. But as a wide receiver, your knee hits the ground, you're not down until you've gone to the ground, done the stop, drop, and roll, and had the football with you the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
Was there a
You gotta do
fire?
the earthquake drill.
Yeah, I think you actually have to do the hokey pokey at some point too. Like I think you
You
actually
gotta
have
do
to
the
put your
Inca
left foot in and your left foot out.
Do the hokey pokey. Okay, now it's complete. I mean, I
Oh,
agree that that's what I'm saying. The wide receiver rules are weird because, like, as a running back, the knee goes down, you're down. As a you take 3 steps with the football, the knee goes down. Oh, you weren't down because you didn't do the hokey pokey, do the stop, drop, and roll, and have the football with you the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess it has to go by
And I was
position,
gonna
I
say-
guess. I don't know.
There's 2 where that didn't happen. One was in the Rams game when Colby Parkinson hits the ground at contact when he's caught the ball. He loses
Hey,
control on the ground.
Not to cut
And
you
they
off,
say
JB.
he
We're out of
regained it
time.
in the end zone. Okay.
We're out of time.
I
We
got to
got
go bit of
15
my show
seconds till
anyways.
JB's live. So let me cut JB off so he can get to his show. And we
Oh,
go, JB, get your show. You got 5 seconds. So we're going to be we can run over a second or two. But guys, thanks for joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll keep talking about the Super Bowl and all the coaches. You guys have a great day. We'll see
Go
you
back,
soon.
go.
Woody rolls.